Welcome to Introspection, the podcast about moving from grief to growth. I'm Amy Lindner Lesser, your host. Introspection started out as a podcast about hospitality, innkeeping, and innkeepers. After about a year, I realized that my life and interests have morphed from hospitality to helping others navigate from grief and loss to growth and living. In this new version of Introspection, I will be talking about my personal experiences with loss, and there are quite a few, what I've learned along the way through my professional training, as well as from my coaching experiences. I'll also be bringing in guests to share interesting ideas. So grab a beverage, find a comfy place, take a deep breath, and listen in. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Introspection, Grief to Growth. I am your host, Amy Lindner Lesser, and we're here for another week of What's on Amy's Mind. So today, I received an email from a company that I really admire. They sell beautiful, bright colored items, some clothing, some household items, some bric-a-brac. But what I love is that they show, with almost every email, they send a beautiful piece of artwork. It's, in today's case, it's a coffee mug that's filled with bright color flowers that could brighten up the dreariest, most miserable day. And on the mug, it says, "What's the best that could happen?" And I love that. What is the best that could happen? What it reminded me of was the fact that more often than not, we tell ourselves stories. We make up things. I don't want to say we lie, but for a lack of a better term, they're fabricated stories about how something is going to turn out. And my guess is that most of the time, the stories don't come to fruition. That what we think about are things that never happen. So it might be, oh, I have to go speak, and I'm so scared of speaking. Nobody's going to like what I say. Something's going to happen. The microphone's not going to work. Or maybe nobody will show. Or maybe they won't understand me. Or, oh my God, what happens if I get up on stage and I can't talk? My voice just disappears. Well, those are all stories that we're telling ourselves. And that was just one example, not a real example. Thankfully, I'm not afraid to get up in front of audiences and speak. However, we do that with most of our lives. We tell ourselves stories that catastrophize things. Often, they're not even based in our own experiences. Like in that case, I've never gotten up in front of an audience where nobody showed. I've never gotten up and had such terrible stage fright that I couldn't speak or that I forgot everything I was going to talk about. There are things maybe I've heard other people talk about or I've read about them in books, and I just decided to make them my own. Not the best idea in the world. And what dawned on me is that many of us who are here, who are listening to the podcast or watching the podcast, are navigating their own grief story, whether it's from a loss of a loved one, the loss of a career, the empty nest because all the kids moved out. It could be loss from infertility or a dream not turning out the way we wanted it to. It could be from a health diagnosis or a financial upset. It could be a loss for a good reason, such as I got a great job across the country and I'm moving from New York to California. Well, that's a positive life transition, and yet it still gives us grief. We still grieve the relationships that we're losing or that are changing. We may grieve our home, the people that we spend a lot of time with, our neighbors. And we tell ourselves stories like in the case of moving, it could be the most exciting, wonderful move. You got a new house and it's bigger and better and the views are gorgeous. You're in the mountains or you're overlooking the ocean. And yet, what you tell yourself is that the neighbors aren't going to be as good. You're not going to make friends. It's going to take a really long time to get your schedule worked out and to figure out how long it'll take to get to the new job. And we start to believe that story. And then what happens while we're trying to move forward in our lives? We're not going to get rid of the grief. We're not going to move on, but we're going to move through and move forward, hopefully, taking that with us. But when we're telling ourselves all of these negative stories, what happens is the stories become like cement, like wet cement. And as we try to take a step forward, we step into the cement and then can't quite pull our feet out. It's keeping us stuck. The story is keeping us stuck wherever we are in our grief journey. Think about that. If you really want to move forward, how do you move forward if the cement is hardening around your feet? So, what do we need to do in order to soften or liquefy the cement? The first thing is that we have to stop telling ourselves those negative stories. We have to start to think about what are all the positive things that could go right? Could we find our new, most wonderful neighbor next door to us? Could we find that the direction and the roads that we take to our new job are traffic free? Or that we get to stop at an orchard on the way home and get fresh food? Do we pass a farm and we get to see beautiful animals? What are the positive things in your new reality? Keep yourself anchored in the present time instead of trying to imagine the future when we have absolutely no idea how the future is going to turn out. We don't want to make the negatives of the future happen. And we know that whatever we focus on, so that we give our attention to, grows. If we want the positives, we need to stay rooted in both the present and in gratitude. So, what if we were to say, I am so grateful for the opportunity to be living in this new place. I'm grateful to be able to share my story with a whole group of people who've never heard about it. And perhaps my story will resonate with somebody in the audience and it could help them move their life forward. Start each day with a grateful heart. I try every morning before getting out of bed to stay in bed open my eyes, and see if I can focus on something to be grateful for. I try to look out my window, and if it's a beautiful sunny day, I say I'm grateful for the sunlight. I'm grateful for the warmth that the sun provides. If it's a rainy day, I might say, I'm grateful for the rain that will nourish the seeds and the plants that are in the ground and growing. It'll help them eventually bloom and bring beautiful color to my world. This morning, I looked out, and in the tree in my backyard was a hawk. I haven't seen a hawk in my backyard in a few months. So, what was my gratitude? I'm so grateful that the hawk came to visit this morning. And then, when I did get up, I went and looked up what a hawk means spiritually. Find something. It could be, I'm grateful to have clean clothes to put on today, for the washing machine and dryer that are here in my house, and the warm water and the soap to clean them. It could be, I'm grateful for that cup of coffee, or in my case, that glass of Diet Coke that I can have and that will wake me up with caffeine. I'm grateful that my dog is here. I'm grateful my cats are here. I'm grateful for something that's going to happen today, whether it's I'm grateful for recording my podcast today and that I have Rich here to help. I'm grateful that I got to do a Facebook Live this morning in my Facebook group. And then once we've done that a few times, then get up and then start your day. Do you have routines so that you have something that you can count on each day? And then look at, okay, what's coming up? What is making me feel anxious? What am I worried about? How do I turn that perspective around? How do I turn it around from being afraid, being reticent for something to happen? Let's turn those things around into gratitudes. And the more we do that, the more we're able to take each step and move forward. If you're concerned that moving forward from your low lows of grief is being disloyal, or like you're cheating, perhaps on a loved one who has passed away, you're not. They're not here for you to bring physically forward with you. However, they are always with you and will forever be with you in your heart and in your memories. So you can think of the things that are happening and think of how they would have appreciated it or reacted, responded to whatever it is. You can thank them for being in your life for however long it was and for sharing certain things. I'm not trying to be a Pollyanna. We can't always be happy. However, we can have joy while we have sadness. It's possible to hold both at the same time. That's called bittersweet. And sometimes I have to be reminded that bittersweet is an invasive species of vine that's also beautiful. It's this gorgeous yellowish orange and red berries. And so I can appreciate the beauty while maybe not appreciating that it's choking other things out. So we're looking for how we can turn our perspective from the stories, the fear, the negativity, the stuff that keeps us bound to the ground and keeps us stuck, into new stories, stories that can empower us. If we can find a way to look for the joy in our lives, and it is possible, joy does exist, and maybe we just need some help finding that joy. I'm here for that. I would love to work with anyone who's willing and ready to start to redefine their lives and to move from merely surviving, which I liken to sleepwalking. We're just going through the paces. And it's important to do that. We we do just survive. We go through each day in a daze, in the days right after a life transition. Sometimes it lasts weeks, months, sometimes it lasts more than a year. Whatever the time is that you need to go through that is what you need. I've said this before and I will say it again, that wherever you are is exactly where you're supposed to be. It also means that you can choose when you're ready to change and to try to start over. We're not limited to the number of times that we can start over. All we have to do is try. And when you're ready to try, I've got a bunch of things up my sleeve, some things that I've used for clients successfully, as well as for myself successfully. So if it's something that you're interested and ready to do, just message me. Either send me an email, info@introspection.com, send me a message on Facebook, and let's see what we can do. I have a timely message for you for daughters who no longer have mothers. So, motherless daughters, whether your mother has died or whether you never knew your mother because of adoption or something like that, I am offering a free Motherless Daughters brunch on Mother's Day, May 11th, 2025, from 10 to 11:30 Eastern Time, or New York time, as I like to say. And it's only limited by the number of seats in the Zoom room. It is completely free. I'm suggesting that you bring your breakfast with you in front of your computer or phone. Make it something either that your mother would have loved or that she would have made for you, so that you start your day with a memory. And we're going to talk about memories. We're going to honor a memory. I have a few other things that I've planned, and it's a way to maybe to ease some of the pain, the opening of the scab of the wound of loss. And I look forward to having you participate. So it's May 11th, 2025, from 10 to 11:30 a.m. New York time. Thanks for listening. Let's think about all of the positive ways things could turn out. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Thanks again. And remember, I trust you, I have faith in you, and I appreciate you. If you liked what you heard on this podcast and want to hear more, please follow us and tell your friends. You can also find me on Facebook at Amy Lindner Lesser, Grief to Growth Life Coaching, and on LinkedIn at Amy Lindner Lesser.